Hello, and welcome to Global Data Themes Instant Insights. At Global Data, we define a theme as something that keeps a CEO awake at night, as businesses that invest in important themes will succeed, and those that don't will fail. Hello, and welcome to Instant Insights. I'm Emma Taylor, and today I'll be talking to Research Director Josep Bori from Global Data Thematic Intelligence, following his key report on the current AI landscape. We'll be talking about the key drivers for its future development and what the ongoing US-China trade dispute might mean for the global progress of AI technologies in the near future. Thanks for joining me today, Josep. What do you think the main growth drivers in AI will be over the coming years?
I think that, as it is often the case in technology megatrends, a combination of developments is driving the significant growth in AI across hardware, software, and services. On one hand, we have the technology, that is, the explosion in the volume of sensor data, coupled with the increased sophistication of advanced deep learning models and the availability of chips created specifically for AI workloads. On the other hand, we have the use cases. On top of the more mature and well-established use cases such as computer vision and face recognition, we now have the emergence of generative AI and autonomous driving. At Global Data, we believe the intersection of all these developments will help drive the global AI market to grow at a compound annual growth rate over 21% in the next decade.
Right, yeah, so really forecasting some real growth. There have been a lot of ethical concerns about AI, obviously, surrounding protecting data privacy, minimizing the risk of bias, reducing the use of surveillance, with facial recognition. And these are the primary goals of AI regulators. However, at the moment, a lot of global regulation on AI models seems to really lack a sort of unified vision with approaches differing by country. Where do you think regulation in this space is headed?
Interesting question, Emma. Indeed, there are significant differences in approach and ethical views between the US, China, and Europe. In fact, we believe that, driven by ethical and political concerns, using AI for facial recognition will lead to conflict in standards and regulatory approaches. This will drive the breakup of the global supply chain in the AI segment, as it has already gone on in the semiconductors space. Ultimately, we believe stricter ethical regulation will break the global AI market into geopolitical silos in isolation from one another.
Wow, yeah, that's really interesting. I can imagine that breaking the market up into silos like that could also really inhibit its development. I guess it's the constant way up between regulation and development, trying to keep up with all the different developments in law and governance. It's interesting that you mentioned semiconductors there. The most advanced AI technologies rely on these powerful AI chips. How do you think the ongoing US-China trade dispute might really shape the global progress of AI technologies?
Under the ongoing US-China trade dispute, the US is prohibiting exports to China of either AI chips or the tools to manufacture them. This is bound to disrupt the competitive landscape in the adjacent AI software market, as the inability to run those algorithms in high-performance hardware will slow down China's progress. By way of example, consider that it takes 15 days on 10,000 advanced NVIDIA V100 Tensor Core GPUs to train OpenAI GPT-3 language model, which has 175 billion parameters.
Wow.
Arguably, with no access to these advanced chips, China's AI researchers will be literally slowed down. So we anticipate that China will lose its current AI market leadership unless it can secure access to advanced chip manufacturing technology. That said, it is anybody's guess whether an unintended consequence of the US export restrictions will be that China will achieve semis manufacturing self-sufficiency earlier than previously expected.
Yeah, of course. That could really shift the power balance. The most advanced TSMC chip manufacturing facilities, which produce the smallest chips required for AI, they rely on manufacturing equipment from companies such as ASML, Applied Materials, KLA. These are all based in Taiwan. What do you think will be the consequences of an escalating US-China trade war on Taiwan?
A very difficult question indeed. TSMC is certainly in a very difficult spot, and we think management needs to tread very carefully. Investors are likely to focus on the balance between geographic diversification and geopolitical relevance. Let me explain what we mean by that. For TSMC, geographical diversification of its fabrication facilities makes sense from an operational risk management perspective, but from a geopolitical standpoint, it cannot be taken too far. Diversifying geographically will make its main Taiwan facilities less critical from a global supply chain standpoint, and therefore less crucial for the US to defend if China makes any moves on the island. Yet the reduction in capex, along with the recent commitments to build fabs in the US and advanced plans for Europe, suggests this diversification will only accelerate.
Yeah, geopolitics and technology are just so intertwined here. So AI is often spoken about in quite like an untangible, almost like theoretical way. Could you maybe give us some examples of some like more like practical, everyday, tangible AI use cases?
Of course, that's a very fair question. Truth is that new use cases keep emerging as AI technologies continue to improve. So facial recognition for security and surveillance is a well-known and widely implemented use case, both by governments and private organizations. Another popular use case are fully autonomous vehicles, as they rely on advanced AI capabilities such as computer vision, planning, motion, and increasingly conversational platforms. Computer vision is a critical technology for advanced driver-assisted systems, ADAS, and autonomous vehicles, of course, as it allows for the continuous processing of visual data from road signs to vehicles and pedestrians on the road, and then helps to determine what action to take. Let me give you a third example, more down to earth. Consumer electronics. Who is not familiar with a smartphone's features such as virtual assistants, such as Siri, Google Assistant, or Alexa, authentication via facial recognition, prime example here is Apple Face ID, and advanced photo editing, for instance, Google's Magic Eraser.
Of course, yeah. I can imagine most of us are using it perhaps without even realising. Well, thank you so much, Josep, for those instant insights. That's all we've got time for. But thanks for listening, and from us in Thematic Intelligence, see you next time.